Woman, you got your education, inspiration. I know say you're not dependent, man. I'm independent today. Louis said, them no right to, and them no fight to, but that can. So keep big and bold. Well, I've got love and devotion. I went across the ocean, action and defend my potion. Love in a slow motion, love in a fall. We got to love the resident.
Blessed the people, welcome back, you see me? So peeps, today we'll be talking about a reggae / dancehall entertainer that goes by the name Louie Culture. Louie Culture, as he suggests, is a hard nut to crack. You get me as a people, yeah man. Louie Culture is a very talented, determined, very hardworking entertainer who has done a lot for the culture. Louie Culture is one who even assisted the likes of Sizzler in the early days of his music career. Yeah man, Louie Culture, I wanna the real one them, you know. Louie Culture have hundreds of hits. I know that a lot of the younger generation might be hearing the songs and so on and so forth, but they are not familiar with the stories. You know, Louie Culture used to roll with artists like Fabulous, you know what I mean? They used to run the place back in after them time. So you know, say we have to take a look at Louie Culture's epic musical journey. So peeps, Louie Brown, better known by his stage name as Louie Culture, was born in Portland, Jamaica. You know, he's from one of those rural communities, and growing up for Louie Culture was a struggle. You know, he was brought up with his mother as also his other siblings. Opportunities in that area where he's from is very scarce. Not a lot to do there. But from a very young age, while he's going to school, Louie Culture always had the ambition to become an entertainer. That was what he loved, that was what he wanted to do. And in order to pursue his musical dreams, you know, he had to leave the country and relocate to Kingston. And that is where the opportunity to record the music is more prevalent. So, you know, Louie Culture had relocated to Kingston at a very young age, you know what I mean? Leaving from country and going to Kingston, you know, Louie Culture is one who thought that, you know what I mean, once you reach a town, the facts you can sing and so on, you just have to get through the musical door. But when he got to Kingston was where he realized that it was not that easy, you know what I mean? There were so many boundaries and barriers that you have to break down. You know, Louie Culture faced a whole heap of hungry days whilst he was in Kingston. Louie Culture in an interview said that some of the times he was so hungry, you know what I mean, he had to depend on his mother to leave country and carry some food to give him in Kingston for him to cook a pot, you know what I mean. So he used to always love when his mother come, and he used to always, you know, pretend like say boy she tired and he want to cook some food for her because he really want to cook a pot for himself. So Louie Culture's musical journey was not an easy one. He faced a whole heap of challenges along the way and a lot of rejection, a lot of resentment. But you know, Louie Culture is one who did not give up, you know what I mean? He continued on. You know that every chapter in life is a challenge that you need to overcome. You know, Louie Culture is one who believed in the purpose that the creator put him on this earth for, you know what I mean? And that purpose was to do music and entertainment. So you know, whenever Louie Culture got the opportunity, he would sing and he would entertain. Louie Culture been to many studios all over the corporate area. But you know, the music not really go like that or a lot of people think. In order to reach the greatness in life, in any aspect, there will be a lot of challenges, you know what I mean? So Louie Culture, him put in the work, him try, and you know, after some time he started to get the recognition, because in the community that he was living in, Kingston, he was basically a star there. But when you're a star in a community, you have to bust out to become a star in a country. And you know, after you get that break there and you're a star in a country, then you can start to think about internationally, outside your country and so on and so forth. It was a real challenge for Louie, you know what I mean? However, he never gave up, he kept on fighting until he eventually meet up with Terror Fabulous. After Louie Culture advised him song, a song titled Pamela Lose Her Man, you know what I mean? Him start to pick up a little traction from there, so, and then when keep on go down in the music until he eventually advised songs like Old Gangali and so on and so forth. You see my people? So you know, Louie Culture's musical journey is an epic one that deserves to be acknowledged and respected by all the lovers and supporters of reggae and dancehall music. You know, Louie Culture has made his fair bit of contribution as it relates to the development and the continuation of our musical culture, because he has played his part. Louie Culture went through a lot In his early days, Louie Culture know the struggles, know how it's hard to get a bus in the music business. Louie Culture is the one who really highlighted the career of Sizzla Kalonji. Yes, Louie Culture was the one who believed in a Sizzla Kalonji from the get-go, you know. Louie Culture, knowing the struggles that he faced, you know what I mean, saw the opportunity that he could help someone else. And he did. He could have ignored Sizzla because the producer who Sizzla was around was basically advising him to ignore Sizzla. And Louie Culture decided that no, he was not going to ignore the skid. So when Louie Culture in him glory, Louie Culture and Terror Fabulous apart, Louie Culture is the one who told Terror Fabulous that they were going to give Sizzla strength. And I mean, and him go to the studio at Fatty's studio for go voice, and when them go there, Fatty's decides say him can't put that energy there in a Sizzla. Him prefer put the energy in a Luciana because Luciana was a bigger artist where I think they're going for, you know what I mean? And Louie Culture did not give up there. You know, Louie Culture fight and him fight. Louie Culture still brings Sizzla to Bobby Digital. You get me as a people because he believed in the youth, and that was where Sizzla's career basically started because Sizzla started to voice a whole heap of hit song, you know what I mean? Sizzla was a youth that was flaming with talent, and Louie Culture acknowledged that and giving him strength. So you can say Louie Culture has made this contribution towards the development and the growth of the genre for music. But as I say people, Louie Culture get him fair share fight in the music business, and Louie Culture understand. And even to today's date, there are a lot of persons who are trying to overlook the greatness and the importance of the work that entertainer like Louie Culture did for dancehall and reggae music. You know, it can never ever be forgotten because history is there to prove what Louie Culture has done. And you know, Sizzla himself has acknowledged this and showed homage that Louie Culture is one who really believed in his career and never did itch to give him the strength when he actually needed it. So you know, Louie Culture are doing thing, you know what I mean? Louie Culture travel to many places in the world. As a matter of fact, the first place Louie Culture traveled to was Japan. Yeah man, the first time Louie Culture fly out at Japan. And he had a good time there. He fly out with other artists like Sanchez and Lady Star, you know what I mean? Some other artists who were basically planting their feet as columns on the dancehall scene, you know what I mean? And the dancehall space. So you know, on returning to Jamaica, you know, Louie Culture released him big song, you know what I mean, a song titled Gangali, you know what I mean? Gangali are one of his biggest hit songs. And a lot of persons were saying that when him say my old Gangali, he was basically saying that he's a gangster or he's somebody that is roved and so on and so forth. But you know people, if you want to make a term for the word Gangali, it has to do with the context in which it is used, you know what I mean? When a man say my old Gangali, it can mean say my gangster. When a man say my old Gangali on a construction site, he can say yo, him know how to turn the shovel more than anybody else. Or him can get a 10 bag of cement. So it depends on the context, you know what I mean? If I'm a bad man, you know what? If I'm a bad man, you know, say a gangster business, I talk about same way. And if I'm a girl's man, I'm going to say my old gallis and so on and so forth. It depends on the context that it's using, you know what I mean? And it goes to show you the length at which people are going to try and they know what to think. Once you think I go on, and you think I go on good, globally, people will go out of them way to try to shoot it down. For the simplest of reasons, you know what I mean? It don't have to be that serious. You so massive people. Yeah man. So you know, Louie Culture do him thing, and Louie Culture basically kick down the doors to dancehall and reggae music, you know what I mean? Louie Culture do it, and Louie Culture do it big, and him still do it. You know, Louie Culture relocate back from Kingston back to his hometown in the country, you know what I mean? Because really and truly as a Rasta man, for all the reverence more time, you know what I mean? The Kingston city so fast and so on and so forth. And the good thing about that too is the fact that other young and upcoming entertainers from that area will see a person like you and know that yes, them can make it to and them can come back in the area, you know what I mean? And you can bring the opportunity for them to get voice in, you know what I mean, by opening a recording studio and so on, create the avenue where the young talents them can come in and them can use your platform and get themselves out there. So that is commendable. Return to your hometown, nothing wrong with that. You get me as a people. Yeah man, Louie Culture even spoke about Terror Fabulous, you know what I mean? When Louie Culture was asked, Louie Culture was basically saying that Terror Fabulous was the best in his time, you know what I mean? Terror Fabulous was all the way up there. And the funny thing is people, listening to Louie Culture, even though those entertainers were so powerful in terms of their crowd pulling power and the power in their music, those entertainers were not really making any money. You see me, they never really are making no money because they never really have care like that. Not much ever go on for them, you know what I mean? But still, they are the biggest artists and everybody wants to see them. So you know what I mean, a crumbs, them they basically make. You see me? But Terror Fabulous was the top of the top. As a matter of fact, Terror Fabulous got the opportunity to perform at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And Terror Fabulous turned down that opportunity, saying not going, and Terror Fabulous was not taking any talk from nobody. You see, I say people. And I know that a lot of persons who maybe know entertainers will know that that's how some top entertainers behave, you know what I mean? When them they're at a certain level, you know what I mean, them decide that they're not doing certain things for whatever reason, you know what I mean? People are thinking that maybe somebody did over Terror Fabulous, or Terror Fabulous was on drugs, or Terror Fabulous, they basically just go mentally, because if you are a musician and you are getting the opportunity to perform at the Super Bowl in front of thousands of people, you know what I mean? That's an opportunity to create a legacy for yourself, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You have performed at the Super Bowl, you get me? So, no matter how much money them have for him, you know what I mean? Him just turn it down and decide to say, nah, go. And Louie Culture says, a man like this, him just not take a talk. If him say, nah, do it, him just not do it. So, him turn down the Super Bowl, people, you see me? Terror Fabulous turn down the Super Bowl. That goes to show, say, from them time, something alright mentally with Terror Fabulous. And as a lot of persons saying, in order to get a break as a musician, especially them top musician, there have to be some level of mental issue. You see me? Yeah, people, but at the end of the day, the greatness and the works that Louie Culture had put in cannot be overlooked and cannot be go around. And this contribution will continue to resonate with the lovers within the dancehall and the reggae space for a lifetime. You get me, I say, people? But the thing is, I would like to see some of these veteran entertainers getting their props, you know what I mean, getting their recognition, and we don't want to wait until them drop out, you know what I mean. For we I say, yeah man, you know, say Louie Culture, I him did sing a song there, and I him did sing a song there, and him bad and ready and tell you, no, we don't want to do that. We want the people them to acknowledge the man them from now. And that is the reason why I took it on myself to do these kind of vlogs, you know what I mean, to shed some light on the great works that some of these entertainers did. Anyways, peeps, for now, that is my bit about Louie Culture. You can leave your reviews in the comment section. As also, you can like, you can share, and you can subscribe. Peace.
What was Terror like as a young man though, back then?
Terror was a man we hardly talk, you know.
Yeah.
In time Terror talk, I'm mostly lyrics. Yeah. If you get Terror for talk, him not talk, but if get him for DJ, him will DJ. You know?
Yeah.
And cause most of the time, Dave say, boy, Culture is like I alone can't talk to him.
Yes.
You know, cause so me and him live. Me and him live like every morning. Cause him not have a vehicle, me not have a vehicle. He used to take a taxi and him pick me up, wait for me at Wildman Street, then we go Arrows. Every day. That are the, from Arrows to my house.
Yes.
Every day thing.
So you would have been there when Terror was among the top DJs in the business.
When Terror was at the top above everybody. No joke. Terror was at the top amongst everybody. Terror was the first DJ that Super Bowl ever asked to perform. Yeah, Terror and Nadine.
Action settings.
Action settings.
Then he started having issues.
Yeah, well, from them time, I say something don't look right. I don't know what it is, but because him turned down Super Bowl. You know. When a man turn down them things, they say, wow. You know, and we have some tour to go up on, and him say, nah, go up on none.
So you never like sit down and talk, like try pick him brain and find out what.
You can't pick them on the brain, man. Them on the brain can't pick. If you sit down and you say, Fabulous, why you not go? Man just say, listen me now, I not go. Him not have to give you no reason, just to say him not go. And if you continue and say, yo, brethren, and if you want me left you say. You understand? So I'm not too pressure him on certain things. But it's a man, when him say nah, no one get him to do it. And when him say him gonna do, no one stop him. But something not right. I don't know what it is, but something not right. I tell the truth. Fabulous, my brother, nah man.
You and guys still close like
yes,
back
man.
then?
Anyway, we see one another, man, a straight love. But you know, me live in Portland and in the town.
Yes.
But more time we buck up or we link up and thing, but a straight love.
I don't know how much you may be willing to say still, but you know, there are opinions out there and there are, you know, things saying that it is a drug situation. No?
I can't put my head on the block Fabulous don't take no, don't like no cocaine or no drugs. That is a total lie.
So it's strictly a psychological issue then.
But I don't know if you say that, but something not right. You understand? As when I know Fabulous no smoke.
Yes.
Till Fabulous start one a little weed now and then. But mere people that say Fabulous take coke, that's a lie. Me definitely can put my head. Not no go so, man. Not no go so.
Well, Louie,
nothing like that.
If you see the level where Fabulous was to what happened to Fabulous, like, well, me find it personally sad still.
Sad
You
to me,
understand?
tell them to move. Y'all you get new and improve. All them a chat you have nothing for lose. Tell them to move. Woman you get new and improve. All them a chat you have nothing for lose. You tell them all fruits ripe and them get confused. Trust me pon that the whole of them get the news. Some get used and the rest get abused. You know in a that cause I you the man choose. Tell them to move. So me say Babylon find me herb. I say it a the best. And couldn't come a quote because them burn off me sis. Me buy me herb. No me chalice me a bless. Here comes everybody a laugh.